Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile, and this is the Fosi Audio SK02, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank Fosi Audio for providing the SK02 for a review. To greatly appreciate it, Fosi Audio, you rock. Alright, so the price tag of the Fosi Audio SK02 is unknown at the time of this recording. Once I learn what the price tag is, I will put a comment down below and also put it in the description of the video. The Fosi Audio SK02 is a DAC amp, and it has the Sabre ES9038Q2M DAC chip. It's capable of doing 32,384 and DSD 256. The headphone outputs are 3.5 and 4.4 balanced. The 3.5 is capable of doing 280 milliwatts, and the 4.4 balanced is capable of doing 1100 milliwatts. The SK02 is extremely small, and it has just enough heft to keep itself in place on your desk without toppling over when things are connected to it. Little rubber feet also help to hold it in place. On the front, you have 3.5 and 4.4 balanced outputs. On the back side, you have a 3.5 auxiliary output, USB-C in, and optical in. Do note that if you use an optical in, you do have to have power through the USB-C. On the top side here, you have a big volume knob, which is multifunction, turns on and off the device, and also mutes, plays, and pauses your music. And then you have a gain switch for low and high gain, and a mode switch to change between USB and optical. And then you have some lights that'll show the different formats for your musical files. Fosi Audio SK02, very well built. I like the look of it, and it's extremely small. Should fit in a bag. You could probably take this along with you on as a portable device and use it on trips, at work, things like that. Power wise, so the Fosi Audio SK02 isn't the most powerful of devices, being at 1100 milliwatts on the 4.4 balanced. It is capable of driving up to 300 ohm headphones, but I found that in my testing using the Sennheiser HD 600s and some other 300 ohm headphones and harder to drive planars, that even though it would get them to volume, it didn't really bring out the potential of those headphones. It was listenable and it's doable, but it's not going to perform. It's not going to allow those headphones to perform at their best. So easier to drive headphones, and definitely IEMs work better with the SK02. I found that it was a very clean amplifier, and it worked very well with all my IEMs and a lot of headphones, just not those harder to drive devices. The SK02, how does it sound? So the SK02 has the Sabre ES9038Q2M chip, and I found that it's a very neutral, cold, kind of sterilish, analytical leaning presentation. The bass extends nicely into the sub bass. You get a little bit of rumble and grumble when called upon, but it's not a very forthright and super engaging type of sub bass. It's just a reproduction and revealing what the track has. Hey, there's a little bit of sub bass here. Same thing with the mid bass. The mid bass, when called upon, will give you some punch, slam, a little bit of kick, and overall it'd be a somewhat engaging, but it's only when called upon. It's not adding any extra flavors in or any of its extra presentations. It's just revealing what's in the track. Same thing with the upper bass. Upper bass is very well controlled, does not bleed into the mids at all, and it has a, when called upon, here you go, here's some information, but it's not a bass that's really going to engage you and wow you and go, wow, this is some strong bass. This is just a very revealing of the track type of product. And then the mids, just like the bass, they're going to be, hey, here's what's in the track. And also it's got a little tendency to be a little bit on the cold side. and has a presentation that's very neutral, and it's not going to add in any color, any forwardness, any elevation. It's just, here you go, here's the presentation of your instruments and your vocalists. And it does a good job of giving you tone and timbre, details and resolution, but it's not a super engaging and a very, like, wow, this is like the best mids ever. This is what the track has, and here you go. It's a very revealing mid. The treble extends nicely into the uppers. You have some air, some space, and you have nice bite, crispiness, and a little bit of edginess. And overall, it's just a very good treble that's has a neutral presentation with naturalism to it, good details and resolution. And overall, I find that the bass, the mids, and the treble is just very neutral, and it's revealing of the track. It's not adding in its own presentation or any interpretations or any coloring. It's just, here you go, here's what the track has for you. Enjoy. Soundstage of the SK02 does a very good job of portraying differences in venue sizes. So if it's a small studio, very intimate and cozy, it's going to be that way. If it's medium, large, or grand, you're going to hear differences in venues, and it does a really good job of portraying that. Also has very nice depth. You can really look into the stage and you can dissect the stage, and it has nice layering as well. Everything's very cohesive, balanced, and even. And then imaging, things track across the stage and you can follow them from side to side. There's no gaps, jitters, stutters, or anything of the sort. It's a very smooth and accurate sounding stage. Detail retrieval and resolution is very good. I was rather impressed by the SK02 in the amount of details that you got, and then how well it resolved them. It does a very good job of being refined, defined, and focused, and you can really pick apart the music with all the information that is provided. The SK02 is very revealing of your music. So if you have a lot of tracks that aren't very well recorded, the SK02 is going to tell you that, hey, your music library it's got some flaws to it. And then tone and timbre. The tone and timbre of the SK02 is very neutral with just a little bit of naturalism to it. It's got enough note weight, and it has proper reproduction of instruments and vocalists. It's not the most engaging. It does tend to lean towards the analytical side and can be a little bit on the boring side, but overall it's a very accurate and true sound. So the Fosi Audio SK02 is a very revealing device, and I was rather impressed at its neutral reproduction. It's not trying to add in its own flavoring. In comparison to the little Fiio K11 that sits up there on the top of the stack, the Fiio K11 has a little bit of a more natural presentation, adds in just a little bit of warmth, and it's a little bit more engaging sounding. Detail retrieval and resolution is very similar, and then the soundstage is also very similar. I was rather impressed between the two of them, and the only real difference is that the SK02 is more neutral, analytical, a little bit colder, sterile leaning, versus the K11 has just a little bit more note weight, a little bit more body, and just a little bit more engagement. I hooked up the SK02 to my PlayStation PS4 Pro and played some games. Now, I'm not much of a gamer, but I am a solo campaign type of person. I don't get online and play often in that regard, but I'll play a lot of solo campaigning. And I was rather impressed by the way that the SK02 presents a soundscape and does with imaging. I was able to place things very well around me, determine when they move and where they're moving to and from and how, and like distances and that sort of thing. So if you're a gamer that is looking for something that doesn't have mic inputs and all that kind of stuff, but has a very good positional presentation and has enough power for most IEMs, if you use IEMs for gaming, or easier over-ear headphones to drive, the SK02 does a very good job with gaming. So, Fosi Audio SK02. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Very easy to use volume knob. The power is good enough for most usage cases, and it has the two outputs that I use the most, USB-C and optical. And then it has the aux output if you want to connect it to some speaker setup that you have or something like that. And does everything I need. Small, stays out of the way, and extremely simple to use. Highly recommend it. The Fosi Audio SK02. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video, and check out all the links down below. There's all kinds of information on there regarding how you contact channel, follow channel, support channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, I want to thank my supporters through Patreon and YouTube memberships. Thank you for all that you give to the channel. It is much appreciated. If you are interested in supporting the channel, please check out the links. You can support it through one-time gifts, PayPal, Venmo, or through monthly subscriptions with Patreon and YouTube memberships, where you can get access to my private Discord server and also early access to videos like the Fosi Audio SK02. Also down below, there's all kinds of other information like gear recommendations, music recommendations, and all that kind of stuff is listed down below. So don't forget to check out those links. And lastly, don't forget to enjoy the music, and that honesty is the best policy.